With high-rise buildings standing aside rich cultural temples and gardens, Shanghai really is a hybrid that draws tourists in. This is Katie from Creative Travel Guide, and today we are sharing the things that you need to know before you go to Shanghai. Looking for more travel tips? Make sure you hit subscribe and ring that notification bell. So first of all, let's look at the best time to visit Shanghai. As a central city in China, Shanghai doesn't experience extreme winters, so you can visit here from November to February and get a colder but quieter city. July and August in Shanghai is busy and hot, whilst rainy season runs from June to September. The best time to visit Shanghai is March, May, June and October. We would include April, but because of the many conventions that often happen throughout the city, this month can be particularly busy and therefore pollution is higher and hotel rooms are more expensive. Whilst planning your trip, you will also need to avoid Chinese national holidays such as Golden Week, which runs during the first week of October, and Chinese New Year, which often lands around February time. So now let's look at the typical costs in Shanghai. So compared to other Asia destinations, China is cheap, but it's not as cheap as Southeast Asia. However, accommodation can be found for pretty good prices in Shanghai. Dorm beds will cost between 50 to 70 RMB, whilst double rooms will cost you around 200 RMB. Mid-range hotels will cost you between 250 to 650 RMB if you're looking for a good location. Luxury hotels will cost you upwards of 650 RMB, with some great options for those wanting to splash the cash. Aircon buses around Shanghai cost between 2 and 3 RMB to travel around the city, whilst the metro is fast, cheap and easy, costing just 3 to 15 RMB. The average cost of food here is around 30 RMB for street food and local traditional dishes, or 100 to 200 RMB at local restaurants for lunch and dinner. However, if you are heading to a Western restaurant or an upscale restaurant, expect to pay at least 300 RMB per person. We actually have a full breakdown of the cost of travel in China on our blog, Creative Travel Guide. We will leave the link in the description below. And on that note, after living in China for 2 years, we have a whole host of resources and helpful tips about all things China on our blog, so we will leave some really good resources in the description below. So now let's look at how to save money in Shanghai. As we mentioned before, travelling in the off-peak season will help you save some money, especially if you visit in the winter. Book those hostels and budget hotels in advance to get a good deal, and use the C-Trip app or website. This is a Chinese website which compares prices, and you can generally find cheaper prices on this app than other comparison sites such as Agoda. Whilst you are in China, don't tip. It is not expected to tip in China at all, and make sure you eat local food. This way you will save a lot of money by avoiding the Western prices. Next, let's look at how to get to Shanghai. So Shanghai is China's second largest international airport, with flights inbound from around the world. Flights from the USA, the West Coast, work out at 13 to 14 hours, whilst flights from London take around 11 hours. Domestic flights connect Shanghai to every major city in China, but be aware that there are 2 international airports here, so check which airport your departure flight goes from. You do not want to be making the mistake of heading to one airport, realising you're in the wrong place, and having to rush across town with 40 minutes to spare before your actual flight. Not that I'm speaking from experience. Another way that you can get to Shanghai is by bus. The unpredictable traffic around China makes this a very unpopular option. The Shanghai South long-distance bus station serves cities in the south of China, but it can be difficult to get to. One of my favourite ways to travel around China is by speed train. So Shanghai has 3 main train stations serving most of the major cities in China. you can get speed trains from other cities such as Beijing, Guangzhou, Nanjing, Hangzhou and Zhuhai. We saved a load of money by travelling around China using speed trains, and it just eliminates the hassle of catching a flight as well. So whilst you're in Shanghai, what is the best way to get around? So for us, we love using the Didi app. So this is very similar to Uber. You can use the app to find a driver to take you to wherever you want. There is lots of English translation on there as well. So even if you don't know the Chinese words for the destination you want to go to, you're likely going to find it on the app. Plus, even if you are somewhere a little bit obscure and not at a touristy site, you'll still be able to get a taxi within 5 to 10 minutes. Another way to get around Shanghai is by using the metro, but try to avoid it during rush hour. Cycling and walking is only really possible when you're moving between neighbourhoods, but is a good option if you enjoy cycling, as they do have a bike sharing program in Shanghai. And last but not least, what are the best things to do in Shanghai? So I wasn't going to do a video about Shanghai and not talk about Disneyland. This is perhaps my favourite Disneyland in the world because I am a big child and I love this park. But you can also head to the Bund, Yunyuan Gardens or the Shanghai Tower. You can try some local food on Nanjing Street or head up the Oriental Pearl TV Tower for some amazing views. So those are the things that you need to know before you go to Shanghai. We hope you have an incredible time. Let us know what you are most looking forward to doing in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video. If you like it, please make sure you give us a thumbs up and hit subscribe. It's really helping this channel to grow. Take care guys, and until next time, stay safe and stay creative.